Alright, today we are back on video games. Don't worry, sports fans, I got you later this week. Understand the reason I'm doing this one today is because, for those who don't know, today is the fall. And what I mean by that is, today is the release date of Titanfall. We have seen already people standing in line at midnight release, and you people already know how I feel about that. There's no way in hell I'm standing in line for a midnight release. I'm not doing it, alright? No matter what it's for. I'm not doing it. I think that's absolutely stupid. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. That's my opinion. If you like to do it, you like to do that. You know what I mean? There's people right now who are playing the game as I'm doing this video. They love the game. There are people who hate the game. However, I will put it like this. There have been a lot of fanboys when it comes to Titanfall trying to silence anybody. This is before the game even came out. Trying to silence people for having criticism of the game, even if they've played it. Look, that's going to stop today, okay? Really going to stop. But before we get started with EA and their bullshit, as we usually do, we're not going to start off with them. No, I'm going to talk a lot about EA today, but I'm not going to start with them. We have more pressing matters, more important things that, we've talked about in the past that is pretty much a follow-up, and this is also some consumer things that you need to know what's going on, the hustle and everything involved, okay? So, let's get started. All right, political ads are coming to your Xbox dashboard. Everyone's saying maybe. I will put it like this. I told you before, politics and video games have always gone hand in hand. We've seen an NBA Jam. We saw the Obama signs, in Burnout. I mean, there's a lot of things that this could lead to. And it's funny because these are the very same politicians that didn't want you gamers playing violent video games because they turned you into killers. And they had to, spend X amount of dollars, for research to find out the same thing that we already knew, that video games don't turn you into killers, all right? But now they want to put their campaigns and their political ads on your video games, on your, on the networks that you pay for, right? I'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, I do want to move on about more of, video games, people playing video games, doing mass shootings and then people blaming video games. For those who don't know, Adam Lanza, we always know, what happened with Adam Lanza. His father comes out and admits that his son had mental issues, all right, and went to mental health professionals. And when he went to those professionals, they didn't think that he had violent tendencies. So he had mental issues, okay? The father is admitting this. They went and took him to professionals. They didn't think that he was going to go that far. They made, the wrong calculations, apparently. He came up with the wrong thing. However, when this happened, all they did was blame video games. So now that we know that this kid officially has mental issues, gamers, why aren't you knocking down Fox's door and saying, hey, or CNN's door, or NBC's door and saying, hey, look, you blamed us. Give us an apology. No? Nothing? How about the game industry steps up and knocks on their door and say, hey, give us an apology? But no one's doing that. But I guarantee you, if I talk about certain games that you like and I don't like, or certain companies that you like and I don't like, you'll come in here real quick, won't you? It's pretty sad. Anyways, on the consumer front, I want to talk about this. Gamers. Now, last time we talked, we knew that Verizon was going to try and pretty much charge gamers for more to play online games, right? Well, there's been a petition now that gamers have put together to stop Verizon. That's right. It's almost that goal. To stop Verizon to, so that they don't charge gamers, which is a good thing to see the community do. All right? People are stepping up. I like to see this. However, there's more. All right? Now that people are jumping on Verizon, because I told you, other companies, this is what they're going to do. They're going to follow each other's footsteps. For those who don't know, Netflix agrees to pay Comcast to end slowdown. For those who don't know, Comcast was purposely slowing down the internet, their data, data stream, so that they can hold data hostage. And they wanted Netflix to pay for it. Netflix has agreed to pay for it. So if anybody who has Comcast, if you notice the slowdown as of late, that was the reason why. If you haven't understood by now, Comcast is holding bandwidth hostage. That's what they're doing, which you're not allowed to do. You cannot do that. That is illegal, all right? But none of the people in the higher authorities are saying anything about it. To sit here and say, we're going to slow it down or you pay us money, that's I mean, seriously, that's hijacking. That is holding something hostage. You cannot do that. This is bandwidth, okay? That's not all consumers, because you have to understand, you're all going to pay in the end with this. When it comes to these companies fighting back and forth, the consumer is going to get hurt the most. I'll explain. A new AT&T patent could charge extra for game downloads online. That's not it. Streaming, YouTube, Hulu, That's right, Netflix. If you decide that you're going to use all this bandwidth and data up when you're streaming, they're going to charge you extra. That's right, AT&T is doing this. Understand this is a problem because now this hurts not only the community, but the industry as well, okay? Understand this real quick, all right? For all you YouTubers who are crying about not getting enough views, all you YouTubers who say you got to make money, you understand, you stream monsters on Twitch, this is going to affect you. It's going to affect you. It's going to hit you hard, all right? Games that, you know, because they want all these games to be digital now, right? They want you to download massive amounts of games. That's going to hurt those companies. So it seems like physical copies, if this goes through, physical copies are here to stay. Yay, but guess what? They are going to charge you for pretty much anything you do online. Do you understand now why people were so adamant about how it started? It started with a little pebble in the water and it caused a ripple. You understand it? And it turned to a tidal wave, which means in the beginning, people hated ads, right? They hated them. And then all of a sudden, everyone's got ads because they cut you in on a little bit of the profit. Now, they're going to control all these things. Net neutrality, we had SOPA, we had CISPA. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to kill you with your bandwidth. So the more bandwidth that you're using to download, to stream, to play online, the more they're going to get you. No more hard caps anymore. They are trying to push the new status quo. Okay? So could you imagine all these things that are going on? All right, we talked about last week how much you're paying for online and Xbox Live and PS4 and DLC, and we're going to get to more of that too. Because, like I said, when you start doing all these numbers, it starts to add up. And the companies don't care if you complain because, of course, they're just going to say you're entitled or you're whining. That's what they're going to say. If you don't have the money, get out. Guess what? This is going to hurt everyone. But I'll explain, all right? Because for those who don't know, we're going to get into some of this. When it comes to downloading games, okay? If you're buying digitally, we'll say, okay? For those who are trying to play Titanfall on PC, understand that Titanfall's PC has a 48 gigabyte install from the result of uncompressed audio. 48 gigabyte install. Uncompressed audio. Now, a lot of people are going to say, I guess, you know, they'll make a patch. Now, first off, you shouldn't have to make a patch. All right, day one patches. We've already talked about that in the past, okay? But understand that if this happens, there's a reason I feel this is happening. Because Microsoft doesn't want you to buy the PC version. They don't want you to buy the 360 version, which I'll talk about later, all right? No, they want you to buy the Xbox One version, and I'll explain. Microsoft shareholders want the Xbox, Bing, and Surface killed off. That's right, they want the Xbox gaming brand killed off. They're shareholders. That's not all. The new MS CEO considers shutting down the Xbox gaming division. He's considering it, okay? I'm telling you this for a reason. The shareholders say, it's not, even in the article it says it's not making money. The shareholders don't like it because they're losing money. The new CEO that Microsoft got doesn't like it, is willing to shut it down. Xbox fans, understand this will be a problem. Not only because you bought an Xbox and that's your, your investment, but understand the tides of, we'll say, competition in this gaming industry will be hurt very much. Okay? That's not all. I'm telling you these things because Microsoft is banking on Titanfall to sell Xbox Ones. That's right. And I'll put the links in the info bar. Understand, Microsoft needs a flagship title. They don't have one. This almost reminds me of taking the gamble when Microsoft did, was it the first Xbox, and they had Halo. You know what I mean? And no one knew what Halo was, and Halo was a huge hit. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have already said, but Halo was a good game. It was a complete game. This doesn't feel so much as a complete game. It really doesn't. But hey, they need a hit, and they're banking pretty much on robots, which for some reason before, no one gave a damn about robots. But all of a sudden you care about robots. I don't understand this. And with all this going on, people are starting to get upset with Microsoft and Titanfall, and they started going, of course, right to the memes. Now, as we know, like other game companies, when you are desperate, you will buy out media. We know how this goes. I showed you the report when I did, was it Devil May Cry Part 5? Was it Part 1, Ebony? When I showed you how the game companies work with these media outlets. And if they don't comply, they'll blacklist them. We've seen this. These are articles that we have seen. There are interviews that we have seen. This is a real thing, okay? If Microsoft is this desperate that they need a hit, that they feel as though Titanfall is going to save the Xbox One, mind you, Titanfall, and this is here in America, because I have to remind you that Xbox not too long ago banned Titanfall in South America. It's not coming to South America, and people didn't even get up in arms here because, of course, America. You know what I mean? I guarantee you, if that would have happened here, people would have been like, "Oh, it probably wouldn't have been that good anyway." They would try to justify not getting it. You know what I mean? Or somebody would have raged. Understand that it seems like gamers they don't have compassion anymore for other gamers in the community. I don't give a damn if you're in Japan or Brazil or South Africa. If you're not receiving a game, all right, that's a problem. As far as I'm concerned, it's a big problem. All right, like I said, especially if you're trying to branch out and sell Xbox Ones, they're only worried about, it seems, the American market, because American market, for some reason, they think everyone loves shooters, but whatever. Anyways. Okay, Microsoft is going to try and buy out places. For those who have not seen the first, as we all know how this goes, the first review of EGM, they gave Titanfall a 10. That's right, a 10, which means it's supposed to be perfect. That's how we score things, right? It's supposed to be perfect if it's a 10. Now, I will put it like this, okay? We will talk about scoring in a minute, okay? Understand, when you give a game 10, you're saying it is one of the greatest games of all time. That's what you're saying, because you're giving it high expectations. We saw this with Grand Theft Auto. We saw this with a number of games, GTA 5. We see this with a number of games when they try to overhype it. And of course, when you see that, nobody's even thinking about, oh, it's just a good score, until you see all the backsplash and the sponsorship EGM got from Titanfall, or should I say from EA. But we're not supposed to question that, right? We're not. We're just supposed to just sit back and watch the hustle go down. You know what? That wasn't it, because then we saw more people come out and try to give you the hard sell by giving, Titanfall 5 stars.
The inequity among the modes is an overall testament to what Titanfall has accomplished, being something new. A game that offers enough change to the increasingly uninspired multiplayer shooter offerings that some conventions don't apply as they once did. It's an audacious game that reinvigorated a long dormant excitement in me to go online and engage. The reward here isn't in the points, it's in the experience, and it's one that doesn't have an equal. A 5 out of 5. All right, yeah, as you can see, I like the game very much. I know a lot of people out there, I know many of them personally. I don't like shooters, I don't like multiplayer.
All right, stop. Hold on, okay? Let's pump the brakes a little bit. People, for those who don't know, Adam Sessler has admitted on video that he does not play shooters, all right? He's also admitted that he doesn't play online multiplayer games, okay? He really doesn't. So for him to review this already, it's already going to be bad, okay? Now, he talks about how Titanfall is new, it's fresh, for what it does. What's so new about it? We have seen Titans drop down from the sky in other games. We have seen Carnage. We've seen people. I showed you just last week with Earth Defense Force 2025. Humans taking robots, 40-foot mechs, head on, built for carnage. We've seen these things. What is innovative about it? What is so new? What is so refreshing about it? I don't understand. And he talks about it's about the experience. It's about the experience. What experience? It's 6-on-6 online with bots. Where's the experience? It's amazing, because when Killzone did this for a while and they put bots out there, people complained and complained and said, ha ha ha, bots, bots, bots. Now you have bots. So you're shooting a bunch of bots, and every once in a while you'll come across a human and say, oh, I killed a human player. Now you go back to being bots again. I don't understand. Where is this new refreshing take? I don't get it. I don't see it. But you know what? Maybe I'm just being a little bit too harsh on Adam Sessler, for him giving it 5 stars. So let's, let him explain exactly how his rating system works.
I know that it's important to use reviews to make a buying decision, but if the review is focused on evaluating a game as a product, like a washing machine or a car, where its sheer functionality is the only source of value or interest, we're really reducing what a game is about. I come from the sensibility that games are art. They're not just something you buy. It's not a meal. It's not a buffet. It's something that if it's only 3 hours long, it could be incredible. And if it is 100 hours long, it could be eternally boring and that we can't just see what bang for the buck you're supposed to be getting out of the game, what the meaning of these numbers are. But I want to just kind of advise you of a couple of things. One's, we used to give these out a lot more frequently, but games just tend to be a little bit more better made. They will be infrequent. It really does imply that there's something so fundamentally broken or messed up with a game, you can't do anything about it. Fives, on the other hand, do not mean perfection. We plan to hand these out very, very infrequently, but do not think that it somehow means that there's no flaw in the game. What it does mean is that this game is doing something very special and very unique, and more so than most of the other games that are out there. That does not mean that every single mechanical aspect of it is somehow fine-tuned to absolute perfection. I have never seen that game. This is a game where the majority of the memorable moments really make it transcendental, for lack of a better word.
So you don't talk about the mechanical parts of the game. You won't talk about the parts, that makes it quality for banging for your buck because, we're paying $60 for this game, plus $60 plus because of DLC and season passes and all this type of stuff, right? Then you don't want to talk about how, the flaws of the game. What the fuck kind of review is this then? Seriously, memorable moments? Come on, stop this. Now, if that was the case, then you do realize, Adam Sessler, and it's funny because he says he brings up the art part and he says that video games are art. I agree. However, the companies that are pushing this don't see it as art. There's a lot of them who just see it as business, and that's how you have to look at it. If that's the game that the companies are going to play, then you play their game and you beat them at it. It's that simple. If that's how they're going to look at it. If they want to say, hey, it's art, okay, that's a different story. But we know EA. We know Respawn and all these guys. We know they're not looking at it as that, all right? We know it's a business at this point. And that's what they've made it known. If it wasn't a business at this point, they sure as hell wouldn't have tried to get us with online passes and every other thing, okay? Let's get that straight here, people. I don't understand this type of review. So pretty much he's saying the review is really not a review, because he's not hitting any major points. He's just saying a bunch of blanket statements on how much fun he had. Anybody could do that. And guess what? When the fun goes away, then what? If you're giving this game 5 stars because of memorable moments, then I guess a lot of games we can give 5 stars for memorable moments. It's funny because a lot of these reviews I'm seeing, a lot of them are saying, hey, the single player sucks, but the multiplayer is great. And then you see other reviews that are the complete opposite. The multiplayer sucks, but the single player is great. I don't understand this. And with all this confusion and hype going on at the same time, you have fanboys who don't know how to act and say, this is going to kill Call of Duty. I get real sick and tired of seeing people say that this is going to be the Call of Duty killer or that is going to be Call of Duty killer. We've been hearing it for years. The only thing that's going to kill Call of Duty is Call of Duty. The same thing with World of Warcraft. We saw something. What killed it? Nothing. All right? World of Warcraft will kill World of Warcraft when it's ready. As far as I'm concerned, this is a joke. And it's sad because the things that we're seeing here, everyone's like, Xbox One, Xbox One. Yes, that's what they're telling you. There's been a number of gamers complaining online about how, they wanted a beta key for the PC. They signed up for the PC beta key, but they got the Xbox One beta key. The same people are saying, hey, look, I wanted it for 360. Was there a beta? Like, seriously, like, this is what's going on. Microsoft is trying to get you to buy an Xbox One. That's what it comes down to. And the sad part is, for what we're seeing resolution-wise, the 360 can handle it as well. And it seems like people have forgotten that it's coming out for the 360. So I'm trying to figure out how this is a next-gen game, because the concept we've seen before is just people just ignored it, all right? The gameplay first-person shooter, it's all the same, all right? You're actually limited. You're actually going backwards when it comes to online play, when it comes to X amount of people on the field, okay, on the field of battle. And now that we're hearing the 360 version will pretty much perform the same as the Xbox One version. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't, and listen, I want to talk about this a little bit more because we have seen fanboys try to silence people, any type of critic of this game. Oh, if you have something bad to say about it, I'm going to predict what you're going to say bad about it. I will put it like this. If you have the right to talk positively about this game, people have the right to criticize it as well. You cannot stifle free speech over a video game because you like it and they don't. That's ridiculous. Okay? And that's a fanboy tactic. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if you're doing this, whether it's on YouTube, on forums, or wherever, and you're doing this, you should be ashamed of yourself. You shouldn't even be taken seriously at this point. I want to move on. Because we're going to go up the Xbox thing for a minute, because I felt as though that was a lot from Microsoft and EA. Jack Trenton, for those who don't know, PS4, Jack Trenton, Sony in general, CEO and president steps down. That's right, Jack Trenton. And you know what? It's because people have been saying, hey, if you notice, every time Jack says something, Sony does something differently. That's just how it is. You know, he's stepping down. He's going, of course, he's going to, you know, bow out gracefully. He's done this nice, but what, 19 years doing this? So, okay, he's been doing it for a long time. He can step down if he wants, but that's not all. When this happened, I said to you people online, I said, wait a minute, something doesn't seem right. Something's going on here. And then next thing you know, Sony sells Tokyo Building for $1.2 billion as a part of continued restructuring. Crazy Kaz gave the okay on it after selling the New York headquarters that went for like $1.1 billion or something like that. So understand, this is something that is just going to keep happening. They are restructuring hard. Sony, I don't know what they're doing, but these are obviously there's something more than what you're telling us. If you're restructuring and selling off buildings and staff is leaving, all right? And we're talking figureheads here. We're not just talking about someone at the bottom here, you know? But it's not all. Nintendo cuts online service for all Wii and DS in May. That's right. So all your online gaming, multiplayer gaming, Nintendo is deciding to cut that. You've got to be kidding me, Nintendo. This is a horrible move, all right? Nintendo, now understand this. Understand they're doing this because they want you to play with the 3DS and they want you to, you know, buy the Wii U. That's what they want you to do when it comes to online perks and things of that nature. But also understand that the Wii sold a lot more in your tenure than the Wii U has, all right? It was selling like hotcakes. Why would you cut off online play for that? That's just stupid. Nintendo, and I put it like this. This is the problem we're having today with online games. Understand that this comes down to gaming preservation. When you have these games you play online, because like I said, they don't want us in arcades anymore, all right? They want you on their networks. When they cut off a game, that's it. You're done. There's no preservation for it. You can't go back and you can't play multiplayer, you know, online with all those people that you wanted. Where is the preservation for this at? Where are these, you know, servers that we need for it? It's amazing how we saw back in the day for trophy hunters, you know, they was like, oh, we got online trophies. The first thing comes to mind is Mercenaries, because people wanted to play Mercenaries 2 online, and then EA cut off the online after a while, and then was like, okay, where do we go? Like, it's done. You can't get that trophy now. Resistance is getting ready to shut down. Resistance 2 is getting ready to shut down their online multiplayer, co-op and adversarial. It's going to be a sad day for me when that happens, because you know what? I love Resistance 2 co-op. I still play it. You know what I mean? And how that's going to be going. Been playing it for years, ever since it came out. You know? Did all the variations. I got the platinum for it, so it's not like I'm hunting for trophies or anything. I already got it. Been at it for years. But the game, the experience that Adam Sessler talks about so much, the experience, if that's what it comes down to, if it can hold my attention for that many years, then I guess I could give that game 5 stars, huh? Even though I hated the single player, I can give that game 5 stars because of the memorable moments and the experience, if we're going by Adam Sessler's logic. You get what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of people who come in here and say, nope, Resistance 2 was not 5 stars. I agree, it wasn't. But by his logic, we should say that. Do you get what I'm saying here, people? It is sad that we are seeing these type of things happen. We need something where we can fall back on, where these games can still be played online. Cutting off an entire console service that's sold like hotcakes, that in many households, that is very ballsy, Nintendo. Very ballsy. I'll tell you what's even more ballsy, though. Dred Foxx, for those who don't know. Dred Foxx, voice actor, did Parappa the Rapper, all right? Got into quite a bit of a problem over the weekend. That's right. Apparently, some gamers, some students, are accusing him of stealing $100 to do some voice acting work in a fan-made video, all right? In a fan-made cartoon or something. Now, this is interesting because the fans paid him $100, and of course, he never produced his voice or anything for, you know, for their project. And then the deadline passed, and they said, look, you didn't hold up to your contractual obligations. We want a refund with our money. We want our $100 back because he took the money. So Dred Foxx goes on and says that, you know, you're nothing but a hater and blah, blah. And like he really just goes off. And it's like, what the hell just happened? You know, I'd have thought the dude was either drunk or on drugs when he was typing this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And they're going back and forth, you know, because the guy's like, I want my money back. You know, you didn't hold up to your end of the deal. Here's the sad part. Fanboys, again, I swear to God, fanboys ruin everything. They do. They come to Dred Foxx's defense so quickly. You know what I mean? So quickly. And they talk about how these people are frauds. And I mean, they just talk down to these people as about as worse as possible. The links will be in the info bar, the exact article of what happened. It's sad to see. You know what I mean? I mean, Dred Foxx has to have an agent, right? Or someone has to tell him about this type of stuff. You just can't take money and be like, oh, well, you can't do that. You know what I mean? But so I'll put the link in the info bar for this. It gets very nasty. But here's the thing that's even worse. Gamers catch on to what's going on. And gamers are like, whoa, this is getting out of hand. It's wrong. We should do something about it. So there's the focus. You know what I'm saying? The focus is there. Gamers are ready to do something. They're ready, you know, the awareness is being spread. And as soon as the awareness is being spread, the thread that was so sincere and was so important turns into a fucking rap battle. What? It turns into a fucking rap battle. Like, way to just be important for a little bit and then just go back to doing other things that'll just, you know, it'll just be brushed up under the rug. You've got to be kidding me here. This is something that needs to be talked about and something that has to be dealt with. You can't have people just stealing money and just be like, oh, well, what you gonna do about it? The dude even calls himself a legend. He's like, what you gonna do to a legend? Like, really? You on that? Because some voice acting, really? These people, I don't understand the arrogance. I mean, really? It's not like you saved the world or, you know, grab people out of a building, you know, burning building, or you Superman or something. Like, you did some voice acting. So what? A legend? Really? Really? And this is what happens when fandom gets too far. This is what happens when people who excel or are in the spotlight to an extent, whether it's here or not, you know, they take this arrogance too far, and it facilitates down to the people that follow them, and then they think that it's okay, and they justify that. And it's disgusting. These are adults. There's no way this should be happening. And then he threatens to fight the kid. The kid's like 19. He's a student. He threatens to fight the kid. I'll find you and then do all this. And he's like, okay, whatever. You know, like, it gets ridiculous the way this goes down. However, the only shining part of this, in the article, they talk about his brother, who actually has a level head on him. Everyone else is just blithering fanboy rhetoric. But like I said, all the screenshots, like the article they did, all the screenshots are there so that you can see the way people are acting and how this all went down. It makes the community in general look bad. It makes him look really bad. But like I said, you can't do that in a contractual obligation. If you take that money, that's it, man. You got to own up to that. You just have to. And this is the problem we have with gamers these days, where they feel as though they can get this arrogance and over either playing video games or talking about video games or worshiping companies, or I don't understand it. And we're seeing it more and more. We saw it with the fighting game community, right? I mean, you know, people say, "Oh, that's a damper." Well, understand that the fighting game community it's not just them, all right? We've seen it with YouTubers, and now we're seeing it with the Call of Duty community as well.
Let's go. 20 seconds. Let's go, Pat. One more on right circle. 15 seconds, guys. Come on. Finish strong. Finish strong. Kill him.
Nice!
Oh!
Read like a fucking book.
You are so average, Fury.
Another one.
So average.
Oh my God!
Okay, let's go, dude.
Oh,
go!
Let's go, Ian. Let's go, Ian. Right here, Ian. Let's go, baby.
Ian, you're the goddamn go, boy.
Here goes dead.
All dead, baby.
Bricks.
Hold this and you
got one
got
double D's. Bricks.
30 seconds on you.
Let's go, 3 down. Let's go.
He won.
Last guy. He's in blue. He's right outside blue. Right outside blue. Double D's.
Keep talking.
Bricks. We need his 20. Right here.
I didn't shoot.
Let's go! Bricks.
Now it's fucking over. You suck. Put that
Let's go! Turn up, boys! It's over! Let's go!
People, I mean, can I really be honest here? Can you really want to be honest here? What I see when I first see that, I see a bunch of fucking dorks trying to be tough over playing video games, trying to act cool over playing video games. Turn up. You serious? If that dude was down the way and saying turn up, they look at him like, get the fuck out of here with that. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand this, man. I don't understand this type of attitude. Like when we played in tournaments and things of that nature, you never saw people like that. Hell, people, when you play in tournaments, they wouldn't even be talking really to each other. Because you know how it is. When you have challenges, you put your headphones on and you go to work. You know, and after that, you just be like, good game. You be real smooth about like, good shit. You know what I'm saying? He'll play you again. Like, that's all it was. And you didn't have time to be like, oh, and all that. You want to know why? Because you got to get ready for the next challenge. Next quarter's already up. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're in a competition, you know, you play a certain amount of matches, and then people just freak out. I've never seen this in my life where all of a sudden, this was tolerable. This was okay. I've never seen it. It's like people just want to bring the frat house or dramatics and sensationalize attitudes into, you know, playing video games. Don't tell somebody they suck at life or whatever because you can play a video game better than someone else. I don't understand that. Now, the video that's being shown, of course, I'm only showing you those parts where they're acting a fool. At times, not everyone. You saw a handshake here or there. That was it. But then they follow it, you suck. So what was the point of handshake? You know what I'm saying? What was the point? I just don't understand this. And because gamers have this type of mentality, and it is a childish mentality, and it is an arrogance problem, and people really need to check themselves, companies, once again, are stepping on your toes and saying, hey, we got them distracted. And they talk about it right now. EA again. That's right. Battlefield 4 rental servers. Oh, joy. So, because you want us to pay for your game full price, and then you want us to buy DLC, and then you want us to buy the season pass, and now you want us to rent out servers. Why? So if I play the game and I beat somebody who has that rental server, they can just kick me out because they're butthurt. We've seen it time and time again online. Stop. This makes no sense. And they just keep gouging you. And all within all this going on that you're buying and buying, consuming all these things, understand you still have to worry about these, you know, internet providers saying, hey, if you use up too much data, we're going to charge you up the ass. So you're paying even more. That's right. Battlefield 4 Season Pass, it's on the way. Now also gamers, understand, once again, losing focus of things. EA comes out and says to you, there's no damage over Battlefield franchise over tech issues, because a lot of you people are saying patch Field 4 and things of that nature. You know, there's no problem. EA claims that DLC are bringing gamers back. So why would they have the incentive to sit here and listen to what you have to say if you keep supporting it? You're going to complain and still buy the stuff. Complain and still buy stuff, fixed or not. You're still buying it. EA knows this. Companies know this. WB knows this with Batman. Matter of fact, let's talk about WB right now. For those who don't understand, and this is going to hurt a lot of people today, just saying, going to hurt a lot of people, okay? Machinima, all right? For those who don't know, not too long ago, Machinima took a big hit. YouTube took a lot of money away from them, okay? Took a big hit. However, Machinima raises $18 million in financing deal led by WB. And the CEO of Machinima stepped down. That's right. And this is what WB had to say, okay? We are thrilled to be partnering with Warner Brothers, the leading producer of exactly the type of content that resonates with our global audience of video gamers and millennial males. I guess it's just fuck females, huh? Millennial males. Understand this. YouTubers who partner with Machinima, all right, think that you're so fucking great, all right? We already know, like I said, the ISP people, they're going to charge up the ads for streaming, for twitching, you know, all that type of stuff. Now understand that WB is a parental company, all right? They've been in business for years with Bugs Bunny and things of that nature. If you decide you want to act up with WB as a major partner and someone reports you, do you understand that they will cut you off? Because they don't want to be associated by it. See, here's the thing. YouTubers want to be these action heroes that they make themselves to be, and they're not. We all know they're not. We see what happens when you confront them, all right? But understand, I told you, real business, they will not tolerate that. They won't. If you act that way, they will cut you off. Who's more important? YouTuber getting X amount of views, all right, for chump change, or a business like WB, billionaires like WB? Who do you think Machinima would pick first if they said get rid of somebody? Understand that these companies, they're going to buckle down on you. You wanted to be corporate. It's funny because a lot of these people talk about, I don't want to be corporate. I want to be a lone gunman, like some type of cowboy. And then guess what? You're going right back to being corporate. You're playing their game. Like I said, I don't understand it. But you're at the bottom. You're low tier. I don't understand it. And it's a lot of YouTubers who do this. I don't get it. Understand that 9 to 5 is coming, people. All right, for a lot of you. It's not just one person. No, it's a lot of you. This YouTube thing, a lot of people always say YouTube is, it's a dead zone. It's not like it used to be. Yeah, well, we've seen other YouTubers who complain about not getting enough views or ad block. We've seen them complain about other YouTube pushing other YouTubers on top of them. It's a constant competition to keep them fighting, even though they're generating money off of you with, with stock, shares and things of that nature. This is larger than just you watching a YouTuber and saying, hey, that's how they get their views. They're at the very bottom of this. And now that WB is on board, be careful. Be very careful. That's my advice. I'm just saying, be very careful. Because people are going to be cut off. I'm telling you. Now, I do want to talk about cutting some things off. I want to talk about Shaq-Fu. That's right. Now, people, if you don't know, Shaq has come out and announced that they're going to do a Shaq-Fu game. All right? Shaq-Fu 2, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Understand that Shaq is asking fans to donate for this game, to fundraise. No. You do realize that Shaquille O'Neal is damn near a billionaire, right? Shaq's net worth is like $235 million, his net worth. That's not mentioning all the sponsorships for commercials and shows. He's on TNT. He has his own show on True TV. He has all this stuff going on. All right? He's got money. Are you going to tell me he couldn't have ponied up, was it 400 something thousand for the game? He wants you people to spend your hard-earned money on this game? Are you serious? That's not all. For those who have not seen this, there will be a link in the info bar all about Shaq. You know what I mean? He's on pace to be a billionaire. All right? He just bought a $235,000 home. Not a big deal, right? Until you see that he just bought also a $250 million sports bar or something like that. Like, this guy has money. Have you not seen the MTV Cribs video? Have you not seen it with all the multiple cars he has? And he's got his own champagne with his own labels on it and stuff? But you still want to give me your money for Shaq-Fu? I don't get this. It's amazing how people can support Shaq, an already millionaire who has money, but you still don't support charities. Operation Supply Drop, play video games for 24 hours, and the money you raise will go to help send video game care packages to soldiers in combat zones, helping in humanitarian missions, or recovering in military hospitals. And yet people will still rather support Shaq-Fu, knowing that this guy is loaded with money. But check this out. This is what happens if you donate to Shaq-Fu. Shaq, this is his perks, all right? If you donate $600, Shaq will follow you on Instagram. Seriously, he'll follow you on Instagram. $1,000 for Shaq to follow you on Twitter. Are you serious? $15,000 to a trip to Shaq's house. All right? Which one? Which house? All right? A $25,000 chance to have dinner. A chance. Not, not automatic, not guaranteed. A chance. All right? To have dinner with Shaq. Or a $35,000 trip to TNT Studios to hang out with Shaq at work. You've got to be kidding me, man. Look, it says also those trips don't include travel expenses because, yes, $25,000 is worth the privilege of dining with Shaq and absolutely nothing more. You've got to be kidding me. All right? Like I said, this is something that is disgusting. As much as I like Shaq as a basketball player, as a personality, he does seem genuinely like a nice guy. He does. But this is shameful. It really is. And he should be ashamed of himself. But that's not all. We have more charity. I don't understand why gamers aren't supporting these things. Droid Gamers Spring Charity Time. We are giving back to everyone through March and April, starting with Child's Play charity. 100% of the proceeds go to Child's Play. I'll leave the link in the info bar. I do not need this. Understand, people, there are a lot of things that are going on that we need to take care of as a community. And I feel as though, for some reason, the important issues are getting the short end of the stick every time. It almost seems like a reoccurring thing week after week. We always see something. Some type of drama happens. And I keep telling you people, if you need to have drama online, take your ass outside. You'll find enough drama if you don't have enough of it. I don't understand this. It is sad to see the things that we are seeing. The companies are still hustling you. The ISP companies, the big three, AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast is going to get in on this. All right, they're trying to change things. You have to fight back, man. If you don't fight back, then once again, we'll just be laying around and just taking it. And another person said it best. It seems like Sub-Zero is just taking gamer spines too many times. Like, seriously, if you can get together and fight over video games or fight over your favorite company or YouTuber, you can fight over this as well. You can come together. It's the funny part, because gaming and unity seems to not be a thing anymore. I also want to know where the company's on this type of stuff. I've been saying for years, if you're going to do charities, you can set up some type of branch for them so that it can be easier to get in contact with these places instead of having all these rogue, and that's what it is. Rogue, gamers pretty much going rogue and trying to help, charities. You should have some type of setup for them, some type of structure for them. It seems gaming is only about business these days and not about fun. And though Adam Sessler still thinks it's supposed to be about fun, when you read this stuff and you see this stuff come down the pipe, because he's part of the media too, it's clearly about money. It's clearly about taking everything you can. And when they keep taking and taking and taking, all they keep doing is trying to divide you guys. Like I said, Batman. Oh, we fix Origins or we riot. And then it was Batman Arkham Knights. Ooh, shiny ball. You forgot about it that quick. Same thing with Titanfall. We're supposed to forget all the things that EA has done over the years. Remember when they banned people for Dragon Age 2? Remember when people, said, I didn't like this game on their forum, and they banned them through their internet connection and their single-player game? People don't remember that, though, huh? People remember all the bans that happened with Medal of Honor? Because people had, were criticism about it. Not trashing the game, just some criticism. Understand, I won't forget what EA has done. I'll never forget that. All right? Like I said, you want to buy Titanfall, you go ahead. But understand, people have the right to criticize the game. Don't tell me, regardless if they don't buy it, if they buy it or not, they're still allowed to criticize it. They're not allowed to criticize it, because I put it like this. If I see something that I don't like, you're damn right I'm going to say something about it. And can't nobody stop me from doing that. That is my right. Just like it's your right to do the same thing. Just like it's your right to say you like a game. It seems like everyone can be pretty defiant and stand up and say things about games and all, like I said. But when the bigger companies come calling and call you a bunch of whiners and things of that nature, you never step up. All right, I'm done. I'm good. Like I said, I still got a sports video to do this week. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.